morning to you. Thank God for another week, another beautiful privilege between you and I, and the Almighty God to have given us this grace this morning. Okay, so being the very first day in another week in the month of February, today exactly is 10th day in the month of February 2025. And I want to assure you that the beginning of a new day, seeing a new sun, simply means one thing: you have a new hope. In that new hope, life is telling you and giving you an opportunity that whatever it is you could not achieve or accomplish yesterday, yes, it's Sunday. It's another day for you to actually step into a new hope, a new horizon, a new beginning, a new platform, a platform that no one actually knows how it's going to go except your maker, the one who created you. So how privileged are you this morning to see another day, a new day, and the first one in this new week? Happy new week. And I welcome you once again. A beautiful morning to you, a splendid morning, an amazing and an awesome morning. I wish each and every one of you, even as you join us this morning. I hope your weekend was great. Okay, so we need to be serious. This is when the business starts and take off. Okay, so my name is Olori Adejoke and David, my friends call me Olori AJ. It's another splendid moment between us to run this show together. It is Family and Value and Young Galaxy Television. Family and Value is a program that is set all out for you and I to put a check on ourselves. Yes, I am from a family just like you are from a family. The normal conductor or a miscreant you see out there that you detest their mood or their ways or their attitude come from a family. And so, how well are you keeping up with your family? How well do you want people to see your family? A member of a family and say, indeed, God has been so good to you. That's what we talk about. From your business to your personal life, your mental health, your health personally, from head to toe, what you eat, what you consume, how you relate with people around you, your colleagues, your friends, people that you set your mind to really want to do business with or want to come in contact with. That's what we do on Family and Value. So you're very much welcome. And as we go about today, I hope you're ready for that new horizon, new beginning, a new phase of life that is coming onto you on a beautiful morning like this. It's time for us to go for a mini feature and we'll be right back. Okay, so stay tuned. Don't go anywhere because our guest is right here waiting. Hey, welcome back. Good morning. And if you're just tuning in, it's still Family and Values. Okay, so this morning, our topic is none than what you have just heard. And mini feature talks a lot about it, but we're going to be going deeper because it's one thing for you to put a research together. Another thing is for you to hear it from people who will give us the best way we will understand it more. And so this morning we're talking about why people struggle to be loved. Why people struggle to be loved. What is love? We're in the month of love, yeah. And 14 is just around the corner. So we're just preparing our mind. Let's talk about what makes it difficult for people. Why do they struggle to be loved? And this morning we'll be talking with our own dear Remy Lawal. He is a minister of the word, but more especially, we concentrate basically on him with an area where he will want you to relate with him one-on-one. And that's been a parenting coach and an author. So it's so good to have Remy Lawal this morning. It's an honor. Good morning, Remy. How are you? Oh, see him. You are really enjoying Ibadan. Ibadan is taking good care of you. I can see that.
Everywhere.
I beg, invite us so that we'll come to Ibadan and enjoy with you.
That's not
Invite us so that we'll come to Ibadan. It's so good to have you. How is the family? How is life? Okay, so this morning we're looking at a beautiful topic, and I want you to just help us the best way you know how to do it, which we know. I'm not just concentrating on the youth right now. I'm not just concentrating on the adults. I'm also trying to run it by young ones too, young ones. And as a parenting coach, I believe you'll be able to merge this together and help us out. So I want to find out, is it true that people struggle to be loved? What can happen without being loved? Is it true that people struggle to be loved? And what can happen without, you being loved? If you're not loved, what can happen?
All right. Number one, is it true that people struggle to be loved? The answer is an emphatic yes. People struggle to be loved, and the reason is simple. Um, Ancient days, when Adam and Eve were created, if you gave them clothes, they would not receive it. And the reason is very simple, because they don't know what clothes meant. They don't know what it is used for. In fact, they never seen it before. So if they should see it, or if they had seen it, believe me, there's no way they would have appreciated it. So that's the first thing. People struggle to be loved, and they struggle to also love, because they never encountered what love meant. All through their lives, they struggled to be accepted. Every human being, I don't care your age, I don't care your level in life, we all pretend through it. There are three key things. They are five, but three is been narrowed down to three that are very important to us. And you talk about acceptance, affection, attention. So maybe I just go one step further. Expression. I'll leave the fifth one. Attention, affection, acceptance, and expression. These things are important to everybody. Now, how do we get into this? And you asked me a second question. What happens if you are not loved? A lot happens. Truth is, the things that happen go beyond you. They go beyond the person that is not loved, because the world itself hovers around the love, and its ideology. So once you take love out of life, you have actually taken life itself out. So if one is not loved, a lot can happen. The person will suffer with depression. The person would never, you will never find the person truly happy. So if no matter what measure of good that happens to the person, you can never find the person joyful. So all the time, this person is always depressed, suppressed, repressed, and everything you can talk about. Because once you take love out, it's like draining oxygen out of man. And today, I want to say to you that most of the terminal diseases we have, except for those that are traceable to lifestyles, most of all the terminal diseases we have been traced to lack of love. We have a story of a man, yes, who came down with cancer and had been given time to live. All of a sudden, he just started, loving on people, started giving out gifts, asked that his assets be divided into two, gave out one part, began to just, relate more with people. He ended up living longer. The same person that had been given a date to die. So love would take life itself away from anyone that is not being loved. Is it true that people struggle to love? Yes. Is it true that people struggle to be loved? Yes. So, and what would happen if you're not loved? I just, enumerated a few things, and there are more that we will still talk about. So let me stop here and wait for the next question.
Next question. So, what should one do when you struggle when you are seeking for love as a youth, as a child? Just like you said it, yes, people really struggle to be loved. So, as a youth, a young man just coming up, from, I don't know, let me say narcissistic kind of parenting, or you feel the way your parents talk to you, they are not friendly, you know what I mean. So to a youth and a child who is seeking love, what should one do to get this love? As they seek it, what should they do? How should they seek the love? Because some of them will fall into the wrong hands, all in the name of seeking for love. So what would you advise?
All right. I think we shouldn't jump the gun here now. We need to address the root cause, because everybody was actually born in love. Let's bear that in mind. And everybody was born to love and to be loved. That's the template. So how did people get into the space where they are now struggling to be loved and also to love? We need to address it, because when you were trying to introduce this subject, you said we're probably narrowing it to younger people. These young people actually got in there, not by themselves. Somebody got them there. And what are the root causes of struggle to be loved? First one is you grow up in a toxic environment where your parents don't know what love is themselves. So it is the way it comes to them that they express it. Don't forget I mentioned the expression earlier. So you're constantly criticizing the child. They are never do good. So all we see all the time are the things they do wrong. Not we hardly see the things they do right. And for a child, everything that you do that repels them or makes them feel unloved is interpreted as rejection. So they grow up with that mindset that they are being rejected. Constantly, they will live in that state of mind that everyone would reject me. So you see them, they are the ones who would want to buy love. They will do just about anything and everything to get loved. Let me ask parents who are watching or who would watch this much later. You see, we take a lot of things for granted. We want children to assume love. Children don't assume love. Children want to hear it. They want you to say it. When was the last time you looked at your children and you called them one by one? Let's say their names are James and Janet, and you just said, James, I love you. When was the last time?
To my children, whenever we call or when we talk, okay, from time to time, because that's the only thing I know. But I believe parents from out there will always want to respond to this. So, when last did you say I love your children? I love you to your children. That's the question from Remy. So, Remy, let's go on. Hello, Remy. Are you still there? Okay. So I love that question actually. It goes a long way and it speaks volume when you tell your children, I love you. Sometimes when they are, especially now that they are all grown up and you're not always seeing them around you. Whenever you see them come around, it's like, wow, well done. I love you. I missed you. It goes a long way. A little hugs, pecks here and there, even to the young man, who is all grown. It goes a long way. It goes a long way. I was with a friend yesterday, and she was all touchy and pecky because her daughter is around, and I'm like, wow, this is beautiful. It goes a long way. So parents, please try and adopt this. It will help build that bond between you and your children. It goes a long way. Then our parents will say, oh, call me. Báwo ni ṣàlàáfíà ló wà? Even their old age, they say that my husband, they call their children my husband. That doesn't mean they don't have a husband, but they see it as a way to let you know how much they feel having you as their son or as their daughter. Okay? Even when the child does something bad sometimes. I hope Remy is back. When the child does something bad, sometimes they try to console themselves and say, oh, come, my husband, come. What is the problem? I know the Igbos too. We do watch it on Nollywood, so I believe they do it. So it goes a long way. I don't know how the Hausas try to do all these petty things with their children, but it goes a long way when you relate with them in that on that platform, where you let them know how you feel, loving them, appreciating that they are there with you. Whether they are, it starts from when they're young actually, so that they will not be seeking love elsewhere. Is Remy back? It goes a long way. Okay, so we're having issues with the network, but the long and the short of it is it's time for us to go for our word on marble. So stay tuned as we take this break. We'll be right back. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Sorry for that little transmission break. Remy, are you back with us?
Oh, yes, I am.
Welcome back. Sorry, the network will always show itself. Anyway, so we're talking about, let's go straight and shortly. I'm sure you are yet to conclude that question I asked about how can a young man and a child seek love. Let's just go straight to that. We'll come back to every other thing.
Okay, let me go straight to that. The first thing to do when you're seeking love is to understand love. And that's why the first thing I recommend to them when they come to me for therapy is self-love. You need to understand what love is. That's why the Bible says, love your neighbor as yourself, meaning that you must have loved yourself to understand what it means to be loved before you can accept love. Else, these are the kind of people who fall into the wrong hands, because a criminal will show you semblance of love, semblance, not love itself, something that bears some semblance of it, and then you fall into the hands of the criminal and you begin to believe that crime is the best way to live. So if you fall into the wrong hands, like a male or a female into the wrong hands of another male, you just think that that's what love is. That's why you see teenage girls ruining themselves in the name of he told me he loved me. Meanwhile, he's telling the same thing to 1,001 other people. So the first thing is you practice self-love. And what do I mean? What exactly would you expect me to do for you if I should profess love to you today? So that's the first question I ask them. If I were to tell you today I love you, what are the things that I will do to prove to you that I truly love you? When they list those things, my next assignment will be go and do those things yourself over the next 1 month. Just spend 1 month loving yourself, practicing self-love. Tell yourself the best of words. I am the best God created. I have the best future. My career is the best. In fact, I'm richer than everybody around me. I feed well. I live well. I look so good. Tell yourself every of those things you would want someone who professes love to you to tell you. Do for yourself those things you would want anyone who professes love to you to do for you, until you have done those things satisfactorily, until you have convinced yourself that, look, I now know what love is. You can never receive love, because for these people, their challenge is not about receiving love. It's also they don't know how to give it. So you see them, everything they do is usually counterproductive. You see, people are always rejecting them, and then the next question you're hearing from them is, I've done everything. What else does he or she want me to do? I even gave they are willing to give you their one life so that you can be alive for them to die, because they think that that's what love means. Love does not mean I need to die for you. I don't have to die for you. Christ is the only person who needed to die for us that we may know love, and no other person is permitted to die. So you don't have to die or give up your right for the other person to know you love them. So these are the things that you need to do as a young person. If you have observed that people are rejecting you, it is not that people are rejecting you, it is who is forcing your love on them.
Hello,
you don't understand. So you are always
let me chip in there while we are talking about self-love. Can you hear me? Okay, thank you very much. Now let me chip in there because we are talking about self-love now. How damaging can it be struggling to be loved? You know, when you're struggling to love and you're trying to love yourself, love people around you, how damaging can it be? Struggling to be loved, how damaging can it be? And how dangerous can it be? You know, there's a place of self love and then there's a place of struggling to love yourself. So, how damaging and dangerous can it be?
About you, and not because they don't love you, but because of what you have believed about yourself, and that is also showing in the way you carry yourself. So you will be always low, in working with low self-esteem. You would never be passionate about anything except people. You cannot take decisions of your own because you're afraid of offending people. So you constantly live waiting for other people's validation. So no matter how good the cause is, once you start it and somebody passes a comment that is derogatory, you will stop there with. You won't go further with it. So it is damaging that you cannot take any initiative yourself. Every time is, I don't want to offend this person. You become what we call in therapy people pleaser. So once somebody says something good to you, oh my goodness, you're going to live in that mood forever. And should the person frown over another subject, you become moody again. You'll be thinking that this person is moody because of me. And when life is actually moving around for people, not considering your existence, that's the truth. The world is not considering your existence. So you will constantly be depressed. You will lose your creativity. You can never take initiative. Your sense of judgment will be weak. You can't, decision making will be very poor. Because when you're about to make a life changing decision and somebody looks at you somehow, you will flip it over and take the wrong decision. So you would always be in the wrong, which is why it looks as if people are rejecting you. Everything you're doing is to please them, and you end up not pleasing them. So, which is why I said you must practice self love. So that's how damaging it can be when you're struggling to be loved.
Okay, when we're struggling to be loved, what are those steps to find love in a toxic environment, workspace, um, school, or even in the home that is toxic? What are those steps one can take to really find love? You cited an example before we had that issue with the network on parents not really, coming out to tell their children, I love you. How often do they do that? So in a toxic environment, maybe you are growing up. I don't want to start mentioning areas, so that they will not see me as. But in a toxic environment whereby it's difficult for you to find love, but just live their life carelessly at their own, pace and the way they want it. Nobody could send to my mummy, that kind of life. So what are the steps for you to actually get that love the way you want it? How do you find that love the way you think you need to find it? Even a toxic environment, your toxic office, where everything is upside down, and you just like, yeah, I call to the office in the morning. I don't want to step on this person toe before this person starts yabbing me. I don't know what the management has put together, that kind of thing. So how do you find love in this kind of settings?
Okay, in life coaching, there is something we call this, but I'm not going to be using that term now. Just break it down to what every one of us can relate with. Let's
Yes, sir.
assume now that this conversation, we're having it in the presence of God at the judgment seat. So would I come out to say I lived recklessly because nobody loved me? Would I say I took poor decisions, terrible decisions because nobody loved me? The answer is no. So what we ask you to do in life coaching is to ask you to take up responsibility. And the truth is, anyone you blame for your sorrow, anyone you blame for your circumstances, you cede power to them. So you lose control of your life in that aspect. So if I say the reason why I'm behaving like this is because I'm in a toxic environment, so I've ceded my power in life to that circumstance. So you must take territorial control. That's what we call it. Now, if you're thrown in a place where the doors are locked and you have reptiles everywhere, let's say snakes, let's just be, and there is a wood in your hand, you know you can't run off, but there is a wood in your hand. That's the leverage you have. You use that wood either to scare them off or you keep smashing their heads as they come by the number. You smash their heads. So you use what you have to take territorial control. To say, okay, I understand the toxicity of the people I am living with. However, I choose to be different. If you notice, of all of his siblings, Joseph was different. His younger brother hadn't come by then. He was different, and he chose to be different, and he stood out among all of them, regardless of what they were doing to him. So you can decide what your environment gives you, regardless of what your environment is doing. Now, let me say this: life, the world is not responding to us. It's not happening to us, rather, the world is responding to us. Let me say it again. Life is not happening to us. Life is responding to us. So this is where we almost understand responsibility, that it is what I give to life that I receive back. So the fact that people hate me, people don't like me, when I come into an environment, they disperse. If they're having a meeting and I get in there, everybody will now take their leave, does not mean I should become sorrowful, which was why I said we will still keep going back to self-love. Just take it at that moment. I am all by myself. So I'm not controlled by what they do. It's a difficult place. It's not as easy as I am saying it right now. When you practice it, you would know what I am talking about. So isolating yourself won't do you any good. And let me also say this: there is nothing that is absolute apart from God. There is nothing in life that is absolute. If you find yourself in an office environment, everybody in that office can't hate you. So if everybody in the office hates you, then you are the one who needs to be checked upon. You have the problem. Everybody in that office can hate you. Everybody in the home cannot hate you. Everybody in the neighborhood cannot hate you. So all you need to do is identify those who look like you. Just me trying to give a direct interpretation to Yoruba language. Look for those who look like you, who bear semblance of you.
Okay, you heard it. Look like people who look like you, who have semblance of you, who has maybe they think in the same perspective that you do.
Sometimes finding that community of people is not that easy. It takes a whole lot for you to find that community.
Maybe not exactly, but you can
And
still
then you
something
need to
close to
step
that.
out of that community to be able to get people that have that resemblance with you. Yes, that's just the truth.
You know,
step out of your community to be able to get people that have that resemblance. Like
but
you.
sometimes getting that resemblance doesn't really mean 100% or 80%. Yeah. It's just like student going to school. Sometimes you befriend people who are even more intelligent than you are. Why? Because you believe, if this person is taking first, your parents will say you are not even befriending people who are more knowledgeable than you. So you are now seeking something higher than you or a little bit lower than you, so that you will still be able to get the balancing of trying to get the self-love that you desire. So I think that's what he's trying to say, because in life nothing is perfect.
Well, I believe that in everything, when we talk about love as a whole, I feel like love itself is something that if you do not develop from the inside of you, it can't generate out.
Definitely.
And when we talk about self-love, it does not really mean you need to start going out of your place because you want to do the extra you. It's just you sitting down and realizing what makes me happy and running with it. Sometimes it could be a show. What makes you happy? That's where self-love is. It's not until you start, okay, I want to, let me build that house, let me what makes you happy, that little thing that makes, that's where the self-love comes in. Then not until you now start, but then like what he has said, you build your own community, you move around with people that love you.
That's just it. You need
Around
to,
with
because you
people-
cannot get the
cannot
exact.
Yes, you can't get the exact. You move around with people that love you.
You just need, it's
You
creating
cannot
your
be
own
the midst of people that when
community.
you dress, they'll be talking down on you. Go and meet people that when you dress, they'll be
They will
hating.
hail you.
Sometimes that hailing is very important and very good for your sanity.
Okay, Remy is back. Okay, we are taking our last word from you. Okay, Remy, can we please take your final advice even as we go, because of our time? We know the network was messing up this morning, but it's still good. We still have you to end this show.
That's where we live. Okay. Now, there was something both of you were saying. Somebody comes first. Somebody is more intelligent than me. Let me say this. Nobody is absolutely more intelligent than you. It's because of where you're focusing. If you're intelligent in academics and I focus on academics, that's me playing my weakness against your strength. So I will continue to be weak. But if you are intelligent in the aspect of academics and I'm intelligent in creativity, so both of us should look at our strengths and not weigh our weaknesses against our strengths. So my final word this morning would be, look, love first is to you before others. And love first is for you before others. Love yourself first. Tell yourself all the good things. Everything people say or think about you at best is their opinion. It is not God's definition of who you are. So, and until you agree with them, it will remain an opinion. It will not be your definition. I say it again. Whatever people say or think of you at best is an opinion. And until you agree with them, it will remain an opinion. It will not be your identity. That's my final word this morning.
Okay, thank you so much, Remy Lawal. It's so good to have you this morning. So, the long and the short of what he's telling us is that we should not stand on people's opinion.
I just love the last thing he said. He said, whatever people say around about you still remains an opinion.
It's an opinion.
It's that
It doesn't
is-
define
it doesn't
who you are.
Who you are, number one. It doesn't box you to taking decisions that you would not want to take. The fact that people are saying things about it's just their opinion. And of recent, I came to realize that the society will always be the society.
Of course.
People will talk.
That's just it.
You do good, they will talk. You do bad, so just do you and
Just be on the balance.
Do you.
Be on the balance.
Yeah.
Be logical about your thinking. Be emotional about what you feel and how you go about your feelings. Okay? Be logical and be emotional. Put it on the balance. Don't let one be more than the other, and don't let one be too. Don't let the two be too much, so that you not go out of out of the space that you're supposed to, the community that you're supposed to be
That's how you
protecting
start
and
loving
defending.
yourself. You become very selfish. There's that place of self-love that you become very
That's
selfish.
why I said too much.
Get blinded to everything around.
Don't
you,
get-
and
don't get
everything becomes-
lost.
Now you now become a narcissist because everything is all about you, and people are like, and you're like, but I want to love myself. So just like you said,
And even
balance it.
self-love.
Yes.
Self-love can be selfish, can be greedy, and can be self-centered. So while you're doing your self-love, do it,
Careful.
constructively, not to destroy others. Yes, that's it. Be constructive about your self-love. Don't let it destroy others. So, Joy, from you.
Yeah, don't let it destroy others. Okay, before I go, I would like to say this. Crime is a very terrible thing and is a bad thing. When you're caught, you face the punishment, the judgment for it. Stay away from crime, please. No matter how difficult the society is, no matter how the economy is, crime is the last thing anyone should involve in. The youth. Please, let's stay away from crime. Thank you very much for being a part of Monday. I am Princess Joy Ayo Abu. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Okay, as we see tomorrow, tomorrow we'll be looking at family disintegration. This is still part of love. Something must have happened for that family to disintegrate. So we're looking at family disintegration tomorrow. I'll be talking extensively about it because families need to come together. Every individual start from a family, and so when the love comes from the family, it goes a long way. But when there is a separation or a little crack in the wall, it goes very bad. if care is not taken. On that note, we hope you had a wonderful time with us today on Family and Values. Hope to see you tomorrow. Wish you the very best of today. On behalf of everyone who has made today's show a great one, thank you to our guest, Remi Lawal, and to every of our viewers out there. We love you. Keep your comments coming. And I hope you picked one thing to do today. Tell your children how much you love them. It goes a long way to build something memorable in their heart. My name is Remain Olori Adejoke Adunbi David. Hope to see you tomorrow. Have a splendid and a wonderful day ahead. Bye for now. Stay tuned for the next show.